Welcome to today's John A. table tennis lesson on key principles of ball contact. Three principles are where to contact the ball in its bounce path. The second principle is the application of force and friction. So how much force, how much friction are you going to apply to the ball? And then the third principle that's critical about stroke technique is where do you make contact with the ball? As the ball is bouncing to you, and this is the front of the ball as you strike it looking forward, where do you make contact with the ball? So those are the three principles today. First principle is where do you bounce the ball in its bounce path? Stop. Ball bouncing, we can catch the ball at different points. So depending on the stroke you're going to use will kind of determine where you make contact with the ball in its bounce path. So for the first example, we're going to use a fast loop. So in this case, I want to catch the ball on the rise or at the peak of the bounce. Okay, so see I'm catching the ball as it's rising. Next one will be a push. So this time I'm going to catch it as it's falling. So you can see I'm letting the ball drop. Okay, now I'll do a block. I'm going to catch it as it's rising or at the peak. Okay. The second principle is the application of force and friction. So how much force do you apply depends on how much force is on the ball coming. So if it's a light ball and you want to drive it hard, then you're going to have to apply more force. Okay, so that might be maximum force. Okay, or in the case of a spin stroke, a loop stroke, for example, you might apply maximum spin stroke to that ball. If the ball is coming hard and all you have time to do is block and you want to absorb some of the force, then you might use minimum force to absorb some of the force that's on the ball and redirect it back. So the second principle is the application of force and friction. So here's a few examples in how to apply that principle. You are going to apply force to a topspin ball, no matter whether it's minimum, medium, or maximum force. What direction are you going to apply that force? So against a topspin stroke or against a topspin shot, you're going to hit it down, slightly down in the direction of the table. Especially if it's above the net, you're going to hit that ball down. So that you're going to apply that force down. Against an underspin ball or a heavy push, you might apply that force slightly upward and forward. Okay, so down and forward against topspin, up and forward against underspin. Then against right-hand side spin, so if it's pulling the ball to the right, I'm going to apply my force to the left. And then the last thing is against a high ball, then I'm going to apply my force down, right? So really key principles against a low ball, then maybe a low ball with a lot of chop on it, then maybe I need to apply my force up. So very key principles when you're applying force, depending on what the other person's shot that's coming to you is, then that's going to determine how you would apply the proper force. Okay. The third and most important principle is where to contact the ball on the ball. So if we consider the front of the ball as the ball is coming at us, where do we make contact with the ball on the ball? And that's determined by the trajectory of the ball as well as the timing of the contact within our stroke. That's the third principle. Looking at the front of an oncoming ball, so as the ball's coming, here's the front, and I want to apply a topspin against a blocked shot, then I want to apply a loop or a topspin, and then applying principle number one, I want to catch the ball on the rise or at the peak of the bounce, and then applying principle number three, where to contact the ball. I'm going to contact the ball on the front of the ball above center. So for a topspin shot or a loop shot, I want to apply contact above center on the front of the ball. Okay. Then against backspin, then it's going to be still above center on the front of the ball, because it's got underspin on it, but because the rubber has so much friction and so much grab, I can still use above center as my contact point to brush up on the ball and create a loop against backspin. Now if I want to hit to the opponent's right side, then I'm going to hit on the right side of the front of the ball, just right here on the right side point on the front of the ball. If I want to hit to the opponent's left, then I'm going to hit to the left on the front of the ball to hit it to that side. So very simple principles around timing when contacting the ball in its bounce path, the application of force and friction, and then where to contact the ball on the ball. Now these are essential principles that will apply in most every situation. Now they will vary depending on the type of equipment that you play with and the level of play that you play with. That's it for today's lesson on those key principles. So now get out there and pong on.